H2Oi, the weekend that I covered for the last 8 years that grew my channel to more than I could ever ask for. The after movies that you guys love the most and look forward to every year. By the way, you don't have to ask when it's coming out. This is it. The weekend spent with my friends, making new ones, creating memories, filming cool cars, and waking up to the sounds of modified exhaust, for me, has finally come to an end. Before we expand on that, I want to talk about why this event means so much to me, and why I've invested so much personal time and money into it year after year. I first attended H2Oi back in 2013 with some new friends in the game plan of documenting my time spent in Ocean City, Maryland, inspired by my friend Kenny's videos from years prior. We cruised down together and passed over the iconic yellow cable-stayed bridge for the first time. We stayed on 45th Street, right across from where all the main meets took place at what was once the Tap House. Meets were held there undisturbed, people gathered and lined the streets, an art gallery was even held, and the weekend was underway. Throughout our time, I wandered the streets, looking for meets to document and cool cars to catch flying by. I never really originally focused too heavy on feature shoots, other than a few here or there. At night, we had some drinks and walked around with my camera and no stress to be had. People sold the hottest shirts on America and barely any tickets were handed out. The weekend wrapped up with us going home on a high and dying to come back the next year. I put together the video, threw on the Stance Nation logo, uploaded it, and it took off. People loved it. The music, the vibes, the cool cars, and that right there cemented my lust to go back every year. It's a great shirt. I must say how amazing your shirt is. That is such a nice shirt, honestly.
Makes a lot of ham.
It's
Makes a lot of yam.
It's Pro FD status. It's a full wide angle kit.
It's gonna start today.
As years went on and the event grew exponentially, so did the videos. I made even more new friends and learned new skill sets, like trying to find unique locations in a small town that haven't been used yet. I started going down with some of my best friends, hiring others to help me, creating merchandise specifically for the event, and even holding my own meets. Ocean City, Maryland felt like a second home after a few years. I would hear people screaming my name from the sidewalks, high-fiving me as I walked down the strip, dying to be in videos and buying me drinks and secrets. For a few days out of the year, I would be on cloud 9, induced by my surroundings, going home with content I couldn't wait to share, and I'll be forever grateful for that.
It's a Tennessee thing. We gotta stay.
With my coverage of H2Oi gaining more traction each year, it also had the downside of becoming more of a job. It turned into all work and no play as the years went on. Watching my friends joyride on the strip and sleeping while I woke up before the sunrise each day, planning out shoots, always moving, stressing every moment of my time spent there instead of enjoying it like I used to. Heck, the first year I went, I dressed up in a dinosaur onesie, had some drinks, and walked the strip. If I even thought about doing that in recent years instead of filming, I would be upset with myself. With how much of a role that video plays on my channel, it makes sense to turn it into a job, and I recognize that. However, with doing so, it takes away the uniqueness of this event and the honest fun I once had. I'm not blaming my audience or anyone for this happening, more so just the advancing times and the growth of my business, which needs to happen. At the same time as the event weekend grows, different crowds had began to join in. Crowds that weren't there for cool car hangs and random side street burnouts, but solely to be unruly. People began to take things a little too far in recent years with the lawlessness, fighting police, and other reckless behavior. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm over some burnouts and will admit my videos, my presence, and myself provoke others' actions, but at the same time, I don't want to portray an all-out riot-fueled party weekend. On the other hand, Ocean City police have recently begun to overstep their boundaries in order to quell what they call a pop-up car rally. When we were surprised in the early years to see some of the first cars get impounded for some camber, ramped up over time to an insane amount of violations and impounds. By doing so, OCPD struck fear into those with a small amount of camber, stickers, or window banners, or even a loud exhaust, giving out tickets for anything and everything possible and keeping as many cars off the strip as they can, even if that meant shutting down the entire strip and diverting traffic across the bridge and back. I've personally even gotten multiple tickets just for filming over the years. So I believe both the crowds and the police are equally at fault here for the downfall of this event. The mixture of those happenings and it becoming too much work and no play are the main forces in this being my last H2Oi official after movie.
Excessive noise, stretched tires, too low, tints, and because of the banner in front.
I can see their colors melt